And question number 3 is going to be very quick. You're not going to get a question like question number 3 on your exam or on your test for this year. But question number 3 is a question where you need to use technology to solve it, which you need to know for AP Calculus next year. So we'll just say, if you get a question that you don't know how to solve it algebraically, what you can do with your calculator or with the program Desmos, if you don't have a graphing calculator, I'd recommend when you're at home downloading Desmos onto your phone. Very strong graphing program. And what you're going to do on your graphing calculator or in Desmos is put y equals to cos x in one equation and y equals x squared in the other equation. So on a graphing calculator, you can go to y equals, I'm going to clear these out, and I'm going to write cos x in one, and I'm going to write x squared in the other one. And when I go to graph this, it's probably not going to show up nice because we set our window for our last thing that we did. So, not a very nice graph. So to get your window back to normal on a graphing calculator, on Desmos, you just take the screen and drag it to how you like it. It's very intuitive. On a graphing calculator, you can either change your window, or sometimes we like to go zoom. And there's a bunch of different things that it can zoom to. 6 is the standard window, which goes from -10 to 10. This will work really nice for us, okay? Because we need to find out where these graphs intersect. So I can go second. Well, I'll show you that in a second. But on the zoom thing, other things that are sometimes nice, zoom 7 is nice for trig stuff. Just made it a little bit closer, okay? Zoom, sometimes people like, there's a whole, you can play around with all, sometimes people like the zoom fit. It tries to fit it onto the screen for you. But in this case, I don't like it very much. Like even still, your cos graph is like really squished because it tried to fit as much of the parabola as it could on your screen. So on this one, I like the zoom standard or the zoom trig. Once you have your graph and you can see where the parabola intersects on Desmos, you could just take your mouse and click on those points and you would find out where they're equal to each other. On your graphing calculator, you have to go second, trace button. Above that it says calculate. We want to find number 5 where they intersect. Enter, enter, enter. 0.824. You don't have to worry about the y, because if we look at our question has, we introduced the y when we typed it. But the question only has x.
Attention students, if you paid for a yearbook last year, they will be available for pickup in the front foyer at lunchtime. That's any student who paid for a yearbook from last year. They are available for pickup in the front foyer at lunch.
Now you could find the other one by doing second, calculate, intersect again, and just making sure that your cursor is closer to the other one. I use the fact that I know that cosine is symmetrical and your parabola is symmetrical, that when I would go enter 3 times, I'm going to get the exact same answer but negative. But it shows up there as well. And on Desmos, you just have to click the button and it would find it for you. Okay? So you won't get a question like this where you have to use a calculator, because the graphing calculator is not allowed on the provincial exam, so they can't ask a question like this. But it's expected that you know how to use your graphing calculator in AP Calculus. So next year, if you take AP Calculus, these skills are very important. So you introduce them now. For those of you that haven't get a calculator, it's kind of nice. You could use that for like solving this question. You could type this into y1 and this into y2 and find out where they intersect. And you can use that as a way to check your answers and see if they're right. So if you want to do more practice with your graphing calculator, you can do question 7.